One of these days our Save the Manuals campaign will arrive at its inevitable end. Even if the stick shift wins a battle every now and then, newer, smoother, and faster transmission technology is dominating the war. We'll be devastated to concede victory, but our work as the enthusiast's advocate won't end with manual transmissions. That's because there's another just cause waiting in the wings. We'd call it our Save rear-wheel drive movement. As power escalates to obscene levels, car makers are sending torque to all four wheels to get that grunt to the ground. Going fast is great, but all-wheel drive systems also add weight and compromise handling. Which brings us to the 2016 Jaguar F-Type coupe and convertible, cars that simultaneously fight the good fight and force all-wheel drive onto a sublime rear-drive sports car. 2 years after the F-Type debuted, a 6-speed manual is optional with some engines, while other powertrains are now mated with all-wheel drive as standard equipment. Behavior modification therapy will hedge the bad news with some good. For 2016, the F-Type V8S convertible is now an F-Type R convertible, meaning it gets a power boost to match the coupe, going from 495 horsepower and 460 lb-ft of torque to 550 and 502. The downside is that all-wheel drive is now standard on all 8-cylinder F-Types, both coupes and convertibles, regardless of whether they're sold in Vermont or Florida. Rear drive Rs still will be available elsewhere in the world. Jaguar believes you need 4-driven wheels to control the fury of the 5.0-litre supercharged V8, and frankly, they're not totally wrong. But the F-Type derives a certain amount of charm from its tail-happy attitude and slightly juvenile inability to put the power to the ground. Besides, there will always be quicker ways than an F-Type to get to 60 miles per hour or to lap a track for $100,000, such as the definitely all-wheel drive Chevrolet Corvette Z06. And at 176 pounds, the all-wheel drive hardware does nothing to help the F-Type's serious weight problem. When we get our hands on one for testing, expect this two-passenger aluminium coupe to weigh in excess of 4,000 pounds. The all-wheel drive system, which is also an option on the 380 horsepower supercharged V6S model, can deliver up to 50% of the torque to the front wheels through an electronically controlled clutch pack or decouple the prop shaft completely to drive only the rear wheels in low-load, straight-ahead situations. While the four-wheel drive F-Type will still swish its tail around, breaking the rear end loose takes a concerted effort. The real benefit, of course, is the ability to drive out of corners with more throttle, and to apply it earlier. We lapped Portugal's Estral circuit in an F-Type R and a low-speed handling course with a V6S coupe in a parking lot saturated by garden sprinklers. In the wet or dry, the all-wheel drive F-Type is far more stable and easier to drive at corner exit. There's even enough traction to do a full throttle launch in the wet with no evidence of wheel spin. For those who treat driving fast as a point-and-shoot exercise, an all-wheel drive F-Type R will probably save a few insurance claims. To us, though, it seems a bit stifling for Jaguar to foist all-wheel drive on Sunbelt buyers and 3-season drivers in the north. Electric Revolution all 2016 F-Types switch from hydraulic power steering to electric power steering, and the outcome is far better than we could have anticipated. While it's not quite as perfectly weighted as the setup in the sublime 2017 Jaguar XK, the F-Type's steering is precise, sharp on center, and full of feedback. The effort is a touch light for our tastes, but that doesn't prevent Jaguar from joining the rarefied company of automakers that have improved their steering with the switch to electric assistance. 6-speed salvation. While the V8 models are losing some of their driver scar appeal, the V6 models gain credibility by way of an optional 6-speed manual transmission. The stick shift is available on both the 340 and 380 horsepower V6 models, but exclusively with rear-wheel drive. For the privilege of working the clutch pedal, buyers can expect a discount of about $1,500 and a savings of £22 compared with the 8-speed automatic. A light clutch pedal doesn't offer much feedback as to where the friction point begins or how the clutch engages, and the shifter's throws are on the long side, with a slightly elastic resistance to every movement. It's all a bit reminiscent of a BMW shifter, which is to be expected considering that both Jag and BMW source their manual transmissions from supplier ZF. Overall, we'd call the gearbox action good but not Honda great. Then again, anything with 3 pedals is pretty great, and there are few luxuries greater than choice. So considering the F-Type has switched to all-wheel drive all the time, we say the V6S is the F-Type to buy for now.